Hi, this is Melanie from Screen Time with Mel, and today we're going to talk about Interview with the Vampire Season 1, Episode 3. So let's go ahead and get into it. Hi everybody, thanks so much for joining me here today. If you are returning, thank you for coming back and checking out another one of my videos. I hope that you enjoyed this one as much as you enjoyed the last one. And if you're new, well, thank you for checking me out. Please let me know if you enjoy this by clicking the thumbs up down below, and don't hesitate to get involved in the conversation in the comments down below. Alright, so in this episode we start with Louis talking about his conflict with killing. He doesn't want to do this anymore, and this so begins his obliteration of the animals in the area in which he lives. One thing that they did do in this, I was like, he ended up killing a kitty cat, which I'm like, no, not the kitty cat, but he did. He ended up killing a kitty cat, and Louis made a comment in a little bit saying, I feel sorry for the stray cats in the quarter. After that was the only cat that he ended up killing. After that, it was rats. He was getting delivered rats, and that's what he would kill. And he did mention that this left him lethargic. He didn't have the energy to do anything, so he wasn't really getting the full sustenance that he needed. But it is talking back and forth about his dilemma, and it also goes on to say that Lestat gave him free reign to sleep with whomever he wanted. And in this, he ended up meeting up with somebody that he knew in the past, and he did enjoy some alone time with this gentleman out in the middle of the swamp, it looked like, or the woods or something. And then he comes back and Louis starts talking about it, and he goes a little, not Louis, Lestat, he goes a little bit overboard in bringing in a whole bunch, filling up their home with a whole bunch of military boys, which is what he thought was his preference. And it was just Lestat showing his jealousy, and he does voice this in a little bit, and is very concerned about it. During all this time, there are rules being brought down that affect Louis' business, and what he's doing at that business. They're starting to put sanctions or rules against homes of, let's say, ill repute, and it's affecting him specifically because he doesn't do anything other than entertainment in his venues, whereas other venues may serve food, or so they say, and thus can get away with it saying that they're a bar, and then they have these extra things on the side that aren't mentioned, shall we say. But it's specifically affecting him. They mention in there that they want him to move across the river to another part of the quarter instead of being in what they call Storyville. And so this is what they're pushing him to do, and it's really just segregating the town is what they're trying to do, when a lot of Louis' business is the very nature of his business. That's part of what he's known for. So this is starting to frustrate them, and as this continues on, his competition that's across the way is starting to get in his face about it and stuff like that. And of course he's basically starving himself by only eating rats, or only sucking the blood of rats, and then he's just getting angrier and angrier and angrier, and he ends up taking it out on his biggest competitor and somebody who sits on the board, and displays him in a pretty gruesome fashion at the gates of this person's estate. And it starts riots. Well, this fuels even more guilt, and the already guilt-fueled Louis, and I get Lestat and Louis mixed up sometimes when I'm talking about him, but the guilt-fueled Louis, as he's going through the town, and finally he hears a heartbeat as he's going through these riots that he's caused by killing that man. And he hears a heartbeat, and he's able to save. He's trying his best just to save one person, and he goes in to save her. And it is Claudia. So this is a little bit different than the books. The books, it was a plague, I believe, that settled on the town, and she was there with her dead mother. And if I'm confusing the books from the movies, I don't think I am. I think that the last movie stayed true to the books as far as it being his mother. Her mother had died, and she's there with her dead mother, and her mother died from the plague, and he went in and saved her. In this case, he saved her from a fire that had been started by the riots that he began by killing that man. And so, in the next episode, I'm sure that we will be introduced to Claudia in a more significant fashion. So, I'm sure that that's what they will begin with the new episode. So, I did enjoy this episode. It felt like it kind of was drawing on and on and on a little bit, but it gave some important information about the political landscape that Louis was in at the time, and how him being black affects his ability to do business, as well as his position within the world as it was at that time in Louisiana. So that was an interesting counterpoint that they had, and I like the deeper meaning and stuff like that. There was one part where he was talking with Daniel, and I found this interesting. This was cool because it kind of introduced some of the changes, or kind of explained some of the changes that they're making with this storytelling, as opposed to what we've read or previous storytellings, such as the movie. It says, hey, you know, last time we were together you said this, and now you're saying this, and now it's this. It's different every time. And Louis explains, you know, do you remember things the same every time? You know, things, it's been so long, you know, since I've had these memories that they may have changed in my mind. I may be remembering them differently. I may remember them differently last time. I may have remembered them a little bit incorrect, or maybe it's a little incorrect now. But it does explain a little bit in those differences and the nuances between one storytelling to the next, which is, I think, a very good way to explain some of this stuff in these episodes. So I really did enjoy that they did that. Again, it is a little slow moving for me, but you know, I found that some of these cable channels, these shows tend to get that way, especially as they start to get into the middle of the season. They kind of draw on a little bit for me, and then as things start to build up towards the end of the season. So I'm sure I will continue to enjoy them. And like I said, I did enjoy this. It just drew on a little bit longer than I would have liked in this particular episode. But I can't wait to see Claudia and how that really pans out, because that's going to be a good build up there. So I can't wait until I watch the next episode, and of course I will watch it and I will record my thoughts on it. But what did you guys think about this episode? Are there any points that I missed that you think I should have brought up? Anything either political or just from the storytelling perspective, anything like that you think I should have brought up or you want to talk about? Mention it all down in the comments below. I can't wait to hear from you about it. And then if you enjoyed this video, then go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. And while you're down there, if you haven't yet, if you enjoy all things TV and some movies, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button, as well as the bell, so that you're reminded each time I come out with a brand new video. But thank you all so much for watching today. I really appreciate each and every one of you. You guys have an amazing day. Bye-bye.